gathering for everyone's sharing. I would say that seems like energies are shifting, moving. My wife was mentioning to me about some astrological shifts as well, but as usual, I don't actually pay attention to all those things. To me, it's just be mindful, you know. If something's going to be bad, then be mindful. If something's going to be good, be mindful to enjoy it. And if something's going to be daunting, then be mindful as well. That's that's my policy. Just be mindful, everything will go smoothly. And I think that because sometimes when we read too much about what may happen or may not even happen, when we think too much in them, we get caught up, you know, in those thoughts instead of being truly present in a place where we can truly dwell in. As a matter of fact, we can be caught up in the perceptions of others or the perceptions of ourselves. Isn't that so? However one is reacting to or behaving, you know, that's based on their perceptions. Based on perceptions, people act out. People behave in a certain way. And ourselves included. Isn't that so? So a lot of people tend to think that they have things to let go of, right? Or not to be too rigid. And sometimes it gets to the point whereby you may not even know whether the inner voice that you hear is coming from your ego or from your intuition. Some people can struggle with that. Sometimes trying to let go of things or trying to be better is also coming from the ego. Wishing that you could do things better, you can achieve more, or maybe you want to be seen more. Throughout generations, as a society, we have been trying to acquire, I would say, a certain degree of wealth, status, and power. Just three things. Wealth, status, and then power. And people who have too much wealth, what they want next is status, and after that, eventually, power. It's three things. But these three things are things that do not last at all. They might not necessarily leave behind a legacy for you. And it's like chasing after empty clouds. When we talk about rebirth, coming back over and over and over again, sometimes as an animal, sometimes as a god, as a ghost, as a creepy crawly, as as anything you can be, or even as an opposite gender. And we live through different kinds of accumulation and also separation from the things that we have accumulated. And the one thing that we can't hold on to, right, is the way we wish to be remembered, to be looked at. Because the moment you're reborn, you could have already completely forgotten about who you were in the past, who were your loved ones, what you possess, what you were striving towards for, completely gone. If you're lucky, you're born as a human being, and all you have to do is learn how to open your eyes, learn how to crawl, how to walk, how to run. That's what I do when I observe my daughter. It's like, oh wow, whoever you are, little daughter, doesn't matter because you're learning, you can't even crawl properly yet, and I probably won't remember who she was. And obviously she doesn't even know anything. So what you're striving for, what kind of perfection you're working towards in this life, you have to think about whether you can port it over. When you get into a career, you get into some kind of business, you think about how you can pivot, how you can retain some skill sets and bring it forward. Right? But when it comes to our jobs, we can be very intense about them. Can take up responsibility for them. We kind of know what to do, right? Jumping from career to career. We know exactly what we need to build towards. We know what we can bring over. But then when it comes to life, what can you bring over? What are you working on that you can actually bring forward? Or what can you bring forward to your loved ones this Christmas season? Some of us reunite with our loved ones once a year, be it Christmas, Deepavali, Hari Raya, or Chinese New Year. What can you bring forward from last year? What are you working on? What can you present to them? And if you don't believe in the next life or you don't care about the next life, then think about this lifetime. What can you offer them from your presence. No, it's not just money or material happiness. What is it that you can truly give to them? This is something to really think deeply about. Because that's what will change society, right? That's what can change the world. It starts from ourselves and spreading it to our loved ones. How can we engage the people whom we love? So it starts from how can you engage with yourself? There are times when you may be struck by unforeseen circumstances, good or bad, who cares, right? Things happen in life. But if you think that you need to let go of them, you also need to remember that letting go, the idea of letting go, is very rudimentary. It's like beginner's practice. Okay, let go of what's not good for you. Why do you let go of things? Why do you need to let go of them? The reason we need to let go of things is because we're holding on to things. That's why we need to let go. Simple as that. If you feel that you're faced with a situation that you do not really like, that is going to push your buttons, means you see it coming, you see it as a threat to your safety, because maybe you're in your comfort zone, a threat, or maybe you're stuck with your idea of happiness, of what is a perfect life, what is a perfect day, what is a perfect role you want to play. So as that challenge comes towards you, you feel threatened. There's fear, perhaps, but it is coming and it has not gotten into you. Then why do you have to let go of it? So mindfulness is one part of the puzzle, right? On leading a spiritual life or living a fulfilling life, where you're conscious, you're aware that you're alive, and it's a beautiful thing to be alive, that you're not sick or you're not completely sick. You may have a pain in your pinky, but the other 9 fingers are working well. All that blah blah blah. About channeling your attention to positivity and allowing that positive energy to grow on its own, to spread to the negative parts of you. Right? But the most important thing is that you need what we call sampajañña. Sampajañña. So mindfulness is like a light of mindfulness that the Buddha said. You place mindfulness, the light of mindfulness, in front of you to guide you, to guide you. And the other thing that we need is sampajañña. Sampajañña means self-comprehension. Right? So it's not self-awareness. Self-awareness is just be aware of yourself. But over here, we're talking about a further step to comprehend, to understand, to know deeply about yourself, about what you're doing, how you're conditioned, and all that stuff, of how far you've come in life, of you being there, you being here. As mentioned earlier, you've learned how to open your eyes, learn how to crawl, walk, run, talk, eat. You've gone through a lot in life. So when situations come as they are, they may be daunting, they may threaten your peace, that you may have some kind of fear, resistance, anger, in a way, to react crazily, or to feel intense pain, or to be stunned by your pain, or to be stunned by your suffering. It is not a lot of emotional maturity over there. It's like acting like a child. So I'm not saying to disregard your emotions. Everyone have emotions. And you all know how emotions are like. You know that anger is uncomfortable. Anger feels like fire. Anger has its own impulses to make you think in a certain way and to behave in a certain way or to speak in a certain way. Right? That's anger. And fear and anxiety is the same thing. Gives you butterflies in your stomach, makes you feel weak, makes your shoulders curl up in front of you. So we're not here to reject our human experience and the emotions that come with it. But if you notice any emotions arising in you, don't try to push away how it feels like. You recognize it as it is. So that is step one, to be mindful. mindful of yourself, of how you're breathing, how you're feeling, what kind of thoughts there are. Just be mindful of what's going on, what's happening right here and right now in the present moment. And the next thing is sampajañña, the self-comprehension. You have come a long way in life. You have your practices. You have received teachings. You have read enough books, listened to enough TED Talks, gone on enough meditation apps. You've heard a lot of people share. You have tools at your disposal. You have experience on how to overcome your suffering. You do understand the world. You do understand how you're conditioned. You also do understand how you have been deconstructed and recreated again and again and again. That's why the you today and the you 10 years ago can feel completely different. Right? And the way you see yourself may be different. So that is sampajañña. You need to know you're here. You need to have sampajañña. So with mindfulness shining down at you and how you're feeling, and sampajañña coming up together, they merge together. And you could dwell here. And as emotions or daunting situations come about, or feelings of unease comes about, you know that they are approaching. So in a way, you don't have to let go of them, but you need to know how to remain still. You need to know how to be here. You know how to take a step back, stop whatever you're doing, connect with yourself, and just see things as they come. And just notice it. You're not your emotion, you're not the narratives. And all you have to do is just be firm. Hold steadfast in your concentration of sampajañña and mindfulness. Just be here. And those things will repel on their own. And you would have overcome it. You have won the battle. And without having to fight, without having to engage, without having to disengage either. And that's what sampajañña is about, the self-comprehension, being right here, right now. And that's where you can allow everything to pass, to see them passing by. You have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, you have the skills. And it is where you can cause a disruption in your autopilot behaviors. This is where you start right here and right now, that you can chart a different course in your life in the way you want to be. So that's what's important, which brings the focus and the concentration to yourself as a human being with a very precious human birth, who is conscious, who is not blind, who is not deaf, who is not suffering in poverty, who have teachings, who has opportunities to practice. You're here. And the opportunity to fill up your own jar and eventually share it and to impact others, starting from your loved ones. And who are your loved ones? Your loved ones are people who are in your present moment. Just like how you practice deep listening to everyone check in very patiently, you're giving the space to everyone else on the screen to just be them. If you're just scratching yourself and, or surfing the web, on a different browser, doing your work, then that space can't be held, right? So you do have an impact, which also means that others can impact you. Everyone is co-creating the present moment. The difference is that you have a practice, and it doesn't mean that you need to be more compassionate, you need to be more giving. No. It's that you have a practice, you need to know what this moment is made up of. That's your mindfulness and sampajañña. You know the interbeing, the oneness of that situation, that present moment is you. If you generate thoughts of disgust to others, then you are experiencing a very disgusting mind. A disgusting mindset, perhaps, a smelly, a stinky brain, which can continue to stink as you go about your day after that. Right? But if you can, just understand yourself. Be here, this is the present moment. Just offer your presence to yourself. And your wisdom will tell you how you should engage, or maybe not engage. And that goes beyond thinking. That would be intuition. And each moment changes non-stop. Therefore, you come grasp into each moment as the universe, as yourself, that person's self, or any idea of it. So that is the practice. So it's not to say that you need to be accountable to what happens outside of you. What I'm saying is that you need to be aware of the choice that you can make right at that very moment, because that is what determines whether your life change or not, whether transformation is happening or not. People seek transformation. Some people seek healing. But there are people who would rather stay in their comfort zone and say, no, I would like to procrastinate this change, or just stay behind. As you stay behind and everything else continues to change, you fire your neurons in the old pathways again, and you go on enforcing them, then you're missing out. And those habitual energies grow stronger and stronger within you. So it's how much you want to be accountable towards life as it happens. And note, I said life. I didn't mention just you or others, but just life in general as it unfolds each and every moment. Right now you're listening. Maybe you're bored. You're thinking, why is DK yapping away? Can we meditate? Or you're enjoying it. It's just life, moment after moment, continuously coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And there you go. I don't have to do anything. Some of you already begun thinking, what's going on? You see Jam, you see Hang, right? And that's what I meant. I don't have to do anything. So it's your self-comprehension there when it paused all of a sudden. So continue as you are if you're already meditating. Otherwise, shift yourself into a comfortable posture. So that this is a wonderful opportunity to focus on yourself. You spend a great deal of time seeking wealth, recognition, and perhaps even power. Authority at home, authority at work. But you can let that slide for now. Come back to yourself. Life and this moment, it is about you. Knowing that when you recharge yourself, when you reset yourself, or perhaps even learn something new, discover something new, it's an opportunity for you to transcend it, to transform, to go deeper into life. Each mindful breath can allow you to spread more peace and happiness to your loved ones. Drop your awareness right into your breathing. See mindfulness as a lamp in front of you, illuminating you the way you are. And bring up your sampajañña. Just this clear sense of the changing self that presence. Dive your awareness into your lower abdomen, feeling it expand as you inhale, contracting as you exhale. Just be here and know deeply. Whatever you're experiencing, or whatever residual energies you may be carrying, just know that they are not you. They're just a part of you in this moment. There's nothing to cling on to and also nothing to let go of. And each moment will change as you breathe. And as you allow your body to breathe on, you can also expand your awareness to your ears. Noticing the quietest sound. or what we call the sound of silence. Again, make some changes to the way you're breathing so they can bring about more stability in your body and your mind. And from this awareness, reflect into your past. Maybe you can think about the intense moments of your life, be it a positive one or a negative one. And just observe them. Recollecting and looking deeply into your sense of self at that moment. The way you envision the world, your emotions, your feelings. Your understanding of yourself and of life in the past. Just see it as though it's playing on a recorder. Notice what's the difference. Just witnessing if things were fabricated from the ego in the past. Simply witnessing the coming and going of things, the creation and the destruction of viewpoints, perceptions, or even your own identities. Reconnecting deeper with your breaths. Opening your mind's eye to the coming and going of all mental phenomena. Decades can flash past your mind in such a short instant, just like dreams. This is because nothing persists forever, nothing exists forever. Every moment, everything, even your sense of self, is subject to change. You've come a long way in life. We've been through a lot. You've chased after a lot of things, even spiritual goals. And the ideas towards these things may change as well. So what are you really striving for in life? What is unchanging? What is permanent that you can strive towards? Maybe you have an idea of a transformed self or an enlightened self. But how sure are you that that is permanent? Because if things are permanent, life cannot go on. So just sit with this. Just continue to be aware of yourself. Whatever arises and whatever feelings that would come with it, just take note of them. Just really observing your mind. Noting the moments of stillness and the times when the mind moves to create, to attach, to plan, to crave. Notice what kind of goals are they tied up to. Another end result of things supposed or meant to bring you happiness. If so, then why is happiness so far away? Then what about now? Here and now. Now take a few sets of deep and long breaths. You may readjust your posture if you need to. And if there's a lot of thinking, then you lower your chin. And if you feel sloppy or tired, raise your chin. Tuning into your cushion or your chair, feeling the sense of groundedness, the sense of solidity like the earth. Seeing the upper silhouette of your body as though it is a mountain, for that is the shape of your silhouette. Connecting with the solid parts of your body, feeling your connection with the earth, tapping into the earth element to sit majestically and firm as a mountain. Breathing the fresh mountain breeze that's connected to the rest of the sky. Getting in touch with the fluids of this body, just like the streams of the mountain. It's ever flowing, transforming the soil of the mountain so the plants can grow. So that part of the mountain can flow out into the ocean. The mountain may appear to look the same, but it is an ecosystem of transformation and change. And that's what makes the mountain the mountain. Being the mountain, flowing its rivers, breathing the mountain breeze, nourishing the mountain, the body, releasing the freshness and tranquility into the world. Getting in touch with temperature in your body. That's all determined by the sun, the element of fire that brings life, warmth, and even cold. It is the element of fire, the sun, like your mindfulness, that allows plants and flowers to grow, that allows rivers to flow. So just return yourself to these four material elements of earth, water, air, and fire. as water flows out into the ocean that is held by the earth, painted by the breeze, heated up by the sun, and that's where water can miraculously rise up into the sky to be held by space. The movements of the breath in the mountain, in the body, is not separate from the movement of the trees, the clouds, the planets, the stars, the galaxies. This is the element of air, of movement. The space between all thoughts, guidance, sounds, atoms and planets, they are simply space, not your space, my space, or anyone's space. Just space. This is how vast and timeless life is. You can allow the sense of self to expand or to melt into the entire cosmos of all the elements of earth, water, fire, air, and space that is in constant flow, constant change. They can't exist without one another. And all these are also held by your mind consciousness. Everything is being cognized by the mind. Without these physical elements, the element of consciousness cannot function. And yet without the element of consciousness, the other 5 elements cannot come to be cognized. Yet this cosmic consciousness is always changing and can't be grasped onto. Can't be defined. You only need to bring about a sense of acceptance into this experience. or from last week, you have breathed out identities and roles and egos. And right now in this moment, you can also shed away all identities and roles. And bring about a sense of friendliness into this practice. Recognizing everything in this moment as a part of you, just like how you are a part of them. Let metta, loving kindness, flow on its own, this friendliness. Breathing deeply into the heart of the consciousness. Knowing that time is relative. You must have read it somewhere or heard somewhere about space-time, about physics. And in this expansion, you can call about your spiritual ancestors. I'm just thinking about the saints or the Buddha. Asking them for guidance, for support, for their light, for their wisdom and their blessings. Or even the silent prayer. Just view your mind, your sampajañña, to call upon spiritual ancestors. For across space-time, they have contemplated on the universe as well. The physical forms that they had when they were alive were also part of the elements, the changing elements. So let your mind be open and free. calling upon the awakened energies and moments throughout space and time to emerge and to radiate. Then allow the practice to happen on its own. No self to practice. Just pure Dharma. Just practice.
Ushnisha Vijaya Vishuddhe Sahasra Rasmi Samchodite Sarva Tathagata Avalokani Satparamita Paripurani Sarva Tathagata Matida Sabhumi Pratisthite Sarva Tathagata Hridaya Adhisthana Disthita Mahamudre Vajrakaya Samhatana Vishuddhe Sarva
Everything that comes about will be penetrated by light and will pierce through you as well. Shattering every belief, every perception. And also breaking deeply into your consciousness. Breaking through and allowing light to flow into your blood ancestors. Transforming them into Buddhas as well. And healing their suffering in an instant. And a small light from the awakened beings pour into you, into every cell of you. They explode from your atoms and shoot straight into your ancestors. And they too explode into light, and the light continues to blast throughout the galaxies. Pure light of awakening, blessings, of loving kindness.
Mahamudre Vajrakaya Samhattana Vishuddhi Sarva Varana Apaya Durgati Parivishuddhi Pratinirvataya Ayush.
As you light up here, you light up there. As they light up there, you light up here. There is no separation.
Jaya Jaya Vijaya Vijaya Smara Smara Sarva Buddha Adhistita Shuddhi Vajri Vajragabe Vajram Bhavatu Mama Sariram Sarva Sattvanam Chakaya Parivishuddhi Sarva Gati Parishuddhi Sarva Tattagata Sinjame Sama Swasayanto Sarva Tattagata Sama Swasa Adhistite Buddhiya Buddhiya Vibhuddhiya Vibhuddhiya Bodhaya Bodhaya Vibodhaya Vibodhaya Samanta Parishuddhe Sarva Tattagata Hridaya Adhisthana Adhisthita Mahamudre Swaha. Namo Bhagavate Trilokiya Prativisistaya Buddhaya Bhagavate
Opening up your mind bigger.
Vishuddhaya Vishuddhaya
Whatever concerns, wishes that you have, let there be no judgment. Connecting your mind with that of your transformed ancestors and the Buddhas and all spiritual saints, your spiritual ancestors, all connecting as one. Saying your wishes, your views, and those blessings and light flow directly into your wishes. Blasting your wishes and your loved ones into light.
Samaya adhistite mani mani mahamani tatata buddha koti parishuddhi visputa buddhi shuddhi jaya jaya vijaya vijaya smara smara sarva buddha adhistita shuddhi vajri vajragabe vajram bhavatu.
And all lights interpenetrate, combusting into pure brilliance, blinding out all beings, enlightened and unenlightened, including yourself and all planets. Sending out your merits without any mudras or any chants. Trusting in the power of your will, your chanda, directing your will to share all your merits from since beginningless lifetime, to share it with all beings near or far away, seen or unseen, those whom you know and those whom you do not know, including all deities, spirits, ghosts, hell beings, animals, creepy crawlies, bugs, plants, minerals, loved ones, strangers, politicians, left and right wings, karmic debtors, karmic creditors, your ancestors, dead relatives, enemies, without limit, sharing all your merits with them. All beings in the universe. May your merits be multiplied to them, leading them to happiness and to attain realization. Dissolve their ill will, their anger, their enmity. Prolong their happiness, even their worldly happiness. May all of them rejoice in your merits. And directing your light back to you. And think about your next immediate situation. By your home or your work environment. Think about the physical environment, the people, the intensity of those moments, and shine your light into them, your awakening light of pure wisdom, mindfulness. Shine your loving kindness, your friendliness into those moments of oneness that you will come to meet. With each in-breath, you breathe into your heart. And each out-breath, you just let go of your breath to imprint that image of you into those situations. In case you lose your mindfulness, let that remind you to step back into that light. And from the eyes of the Buddhas, or the multiple you, or the eyes of the universe, bring about a felt sense of warmth and light that channels into you sitting right here and right now. Receiving it from your crown with each in-breath, flushing it through your being, breathing out into the earth. Now breathing in this totality of light coming down from above. Breathing in and breathing out, being aware of this totality. On the next intentional in-breath, you hold your breath at the end of the in-breath. Tongue on your palate, swallow your saliva, and then you release. And take 3 more deep breaths, bring in through your nose and out of your mouth. Bring up the lotus mudra, holding it up. Namo Sigato. May there be light. And open your eyes. There's a lot of things that we did today. A rather lengthy talk for you all to reflect what you should be focusing on in your rare, precious lifetime here. So anyways, we went through a few meditations, right? We have more silent sitting, contemplations, going deeper and deeper through the layers. And then we setting the silence, then we did the elemental meditation, then the Om Brum Swaha meditation. Om Brum Swaha basically is the heart mantra of the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani. The Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani is the mantra that was being played in the background, right? Along with other kind of visualizations and with ancestors and all. As you all practice more and more, just know that sometimes you may have an idea of what you want to do in your daily practice, right? But then it may not be the case. Let's say you want to practice loving kindness, but maybe you shouldn't be and if you can't do loving kindness, then maybe you shouldn't be doing loving kindness. You could just do something else, or just mix it with something else. All right. So I know some of you all learn things from me as a standalone program or a standalone class where you just learn one thing, right? Or if you look through the recordings on Patreon, we have the 8 elemental meditation as standalone. That is 45 minutes long. But today the elemental part was just, I think, about 10 or 15 minutes long. So it's really about the essence of practice, not so much about the form. So in every practice that we master the form first. Then after that, we can go into the essence and allowing the forms to manifest from the essence of things. So there's no rigidity in how you should be practicing or what you should be practicing. Most important of all would be loving and mindfulness and sampajañña. These 2 things coming together, and you will know what you need to do at that point of time, not just in your meditation cushion, but also in your day-to-day life. Towards the end of the meditation, I taught you all to breathe out and project your energy or your light of the wisdom that you generated through this practice, the insights that you have. Project it into your, to imprint it into the situations where you find yourself in the future, right? So that's one way of kind of to travel through time, if you use that kind of language where you can imprint and into that could remind you. In a sense, just go on. I mean, time is never linear. So we don't exist in just one time slit. So it's all dependent on distance and gravity as well. That's quantum physics things. I don't want to bore you with the scientific theory of it. All in all is that traveling to the past and future can be done. If you do it in loving kindness and wisdom, you know what to do, how you could heal the past, or how you could bless the future and remind yourself to speak to yourself from your future self as you get there. So that's the gist of it. All right. if you feel uncomfortable doing mantras, playing, right, you need to stabilize your energy. One way is to breathe through your abdomen. The second way is to breathe out of your crown. Because sometimes when you feel lightheaded, that means energy is trying to leave your body. Energy always comes in through the crown and actually exits through the crown as well. So if you feel that kind of lightheadedness, just breathe from the crown all the way into your lower dantian, and then breathe out up your spine, out of your crown, right? And where it comes from, and that's where it exits. Got it? So our schedule, for the newcomers, our schedule, sometime maybe next week. So if all of you can make it, and we'll share the day now or go through some of the fundamental practices with all of you. Right, so I can bring you up to speed. And also, I think that's all. I have nothing to share right now. So just think about how you want to prioritize your life. What's truly important to you. Let it be your koan. Think about it. What is lasting? What is truly lasting? So how you want to invest your time into your life. All right. So think about it. I expect to see answers or reflections or even half-ass answers. I expect to see that by next Wednesday. By next Wednesday, 6 p.m. All right.